and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, joined by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, as we await the next game. So, Maddie, how was your week?
It's good. Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. So I just love the chance to get together with family, watch a little football, even though some of the football was not great. Was it the Lions and the Bears it's like watching JV football. It was not great. But still, a chance to be together. I like to eat, so I love that about Thanksgiving. Like to cook food, and the way how we do it here in Cincinnati is that my wife is one of 6 siblings, and 5 of them were in town for the weekend. So everybody cooked some stuff and brought it over to the parents' place, and we had a really nice time. How about you?
That's great. Well, I watched football all day. I didn't eat. I didn't do any of the traditional stuff. I will eventually, but I didn't yesterday. Normally what my tradition is I go see a double feature film with one of my friends. It's kind of our thing. And so we'll end up probably going Saturday. And I want to see House of Gucci and King Richard, which is about because I love tennis and obviously fashion. So Lady Gaga is pretty cool, and Al Pacino's in it, so I'm excited about that, both of those. And that one just was released, I think, yesterday. So, but I didn't go. I was planning to go, and then I realized, wow, there's 3 football games. I can just sit around and watch football all day, and I did that with my cat. I just really just chilled. I needed a lot of R&R recently, so that was good for me. Today, one of my best friends came over. We did a beach walk. We had lunch together.
Nice.
It's just going to be like a 4-day fun. That's what I'm doing. And I had a happy hour with my family back home today, just before we got on. So life is good. Life is good. I was taking a little bit, I wasn't quite as present on Twitter. I don't know if you noticed or not, but during the week. So I felt like there was a lot going on last week. A lot.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the world and everything. So and how are you feeling about the next game?
It seems like a 50-50 one to me. I think we're the better team, but I know that we're more beat up, and that's going to cause problems, obviously. If it were not at Lambeau, I'd be like, we're not going to win that. I think we have a chance because it's at Lambeau, but I don't know. I mean, now that Aaron Jones has been practicing, I think he's listed as questionable, I think, on the injury report, if I remember correctly. So, if he's in, that's only going to help us, of course. I know that the Rams, the Rams aren't awesome against the run, I think is what it is. I might be wrong about that. I'm trying to remember what their weaknesses were.
I forget. I've been watching them because I'm here in California, so I can see all their games, and they have kind of fallen apart the last couple of games.
Well, I'm hoping that was not something that's been kind of washed away by the bye. I'm hoping that's still kind of, an issue they're dealing with. Sometimes teams come out like rusty after a bye, not like refreshed and looking better. So I'm hoping we get that version of the Rams. And if we do, maybe we have a chance against them. So
that's true. One of the things LaFleur said today, I listened to his press conference from, I guess it was yesterday, not today, but whatever. It was at one time in the last 24 hours. I'm not sure. But he said sometimes if a team is coming off of a bye, they might be reworking things. And so they have some more unknowns So, and he said somebody asked him, how do you feel about Aaron Donald? And he said, it makes me want to cry.
Yeah, I caught that soundbite. That was funny.
It's funny. But so I feel like basically what I'm saying is I kind of feel the same way. It's kind of just, who knows? I hope it snows. I hope it's a good game, as always.
Yeah.
Snow would be great. I asked my family today, is it going to snow on Sunday? And it's cold enough. So, yeah.
There you go. If we're lucky. Yeah. I think it'll be a good game regardless, though, whether or not we win. I think it should be, hopefully a close game, exciting game. So
Yeah.
what more can you ask for?
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday's game, the middle game I enjoyed. The last
That was a good one.
boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was it? Middle game.
The Cowboys and the Raiders, right? And
Yes. Yes.
always good to see the Cowboys lose, of course. And it's, of course, for like an AFC team to be an NFC team always helps us. And I think both of the two games that had that AFC versus NFC, the AFC games, teams won. So that was really nice. It helps us out a little bit. So especially with the Cowboys, that helps a lot.
Right. And I'm not a Raiders fan, but I have been kind of interested in them since they moved to Las Vegas. For some reason, I feel differently about them a little bit. It's not, it used to be they'd come down here, for the games, for the Charger games, and in these black trucks and these black flags, and it was very intimidating. It was nasty. It was just intimidating. It would always, I'd hear about problems, in the park, in the tailgating and all that. So, and they'd drive around and they'd yell, and it was just like, come on, because I live like way up here in Carlsbad, so not even in San Diego proper. But they'd stop, this is a great place to stop to eat or whatever. And because it's right on the beach, and they would definitely make their presence known. So obnoxious with all that black stuff. It was, I don't know what the word is to describe it. I'm not coming up with the right word, but
is
just
like ominous or foreboding.
Yeah. Piratey and
piratey.
I'll think of the word. It was but yeah. So, but anyway, for some reason, and I really like Derek Carr.
Yeah, me too. I like him a lot.
And he is really looking good. And quite frankly, I have grown to really appreciate Dak Prescott. I'm not a Cowboys fan by any means, but I like both of those quarterbacks. But I was kind of hoping the Raiders would win too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like Derek Carr. He's friends with Devontae Adams. They went to school together. He has said in the past, he really always has looked up to Aaron Rodgers. So I appreciate that. He's a good quarterback. He seems like a pretty good guy. So
he is. He seems like a really nice person. And I feel bad for them having their coach fired in the middle of the season. It just
so
wasn't
bad.
It was just, how can you? But anyway, they're doing well. They're doing well, considering they lost a couple. I think Cowboys now have lost 3 in a row or 4 in a row. So they both really needed to win.
Yeah.
That's probably why it was such a great game. There was a fight. There was a brawl. I just happened to walk outside when that happened. I went down to feed the cat downstairs. And I don't know, did you see that brawl? I don't even know.
I was kind of watching. I was kind of in and out on the game because, like is in the background as, at the gathering. The thing that I thought was obnoxious about the game, though, I know I saw a lot of this on Twitter, is just the officiating was so constant and so in the face. I can't remember what the stat was, but it was the most flags thrown in a game since like 1980 or something along those lines.
It was ridiculous.
It was bad. It was bad.
It was. And who was that one who ran it back 100 yards? It was after the brawl. I don't know what the brawl was about or anything. I left. I went down to feed the cat. I came back and they were replaying a little bit of it. And one of the refs had a cut chin. And
I missed that part too. Actually, I was like washing dishes, came back. I saw the ref like with the Band-Aid on, just kind of like just coming in, like adjusting stuff. And
but two players were ejected. I think one from each team. Who knows? But then right after that, was it the Cowboys who ran it back? Somebody ran it back a punt for 100 yards.
I think so.
And one of and I was so irritated with the refs by then that this is so juvenile, but I laughed my little buns off. I was like, that is so funny because this ref is running along the sidelines. Did you see it?
And like hit the pylon, right? Like tripped over the.
Like, how do you play that? That was, I don't know why. I was punchy by then, I guess. So now I enjoyed the game, but the last night and that's the other thing I did. I binge watched something. The Good Fight. That series. Have you ever seen that? It's about
like the spinoff of The Good Wife. Is that is?
Yes. Yeah.
I have not seen it. I know it exists. I have not seen it.
I binge watched season 5 and I was somewhat disappointed in it. It was okay, but it was anyway. So that was, I did a ton of like just sitting around eating popcorn and watching all kinds of stuff. So
Sounds excellent.
It was excellent. It was perfect. So I was super, feeling kind of 50-50 about last week's game as I do about this game, but different reasons. But so we're in football season today. We had those 3 Thursday games. We don't really need to get it. Bears, Lions, Raiders, Cowboys, and Bills and Saints. The Bills looked good.
Yeah, they look really good. I think they're back on track.
So much. And poor Drew Brees was helping announce. I was like, oh, embarrassing.
Drew Brees had to talk about the game as it's happening. Yeah, that was.
yeah. So where we stand today is the Packers are 8-3, Vikings 5-5, Bears 4-7. The poor Lions.
Oh, Lions.
Lions. 0-10-1. So the Packers remain number 1 in the NFC North, and the Cardinals are 9-2. The Packers are 8-3, and I think the Buccaneers are 7-4, something along those lines. Yeah. Packers are NFC number 2 now. We've traded places again with the Cardinals. So we still have the same overall league standings with the Cardinals 9-2, number 1, and Packers number 2 in the overall NFL league. And the Titans are behind them. The Titans have been looking really good too. So that's not too bad, considering after this game we have a bye and maybe some healing, and some of these players will get back onto the field. So yeah, the loss to Minnesota, I just didn't faze me as much as most losses do. I don't know why. It was a weird week for me. So are you excited, scared, feeling neutral about the game tomorrow?
Yeah, always excited about it. We got a good chance, definitely.
Good. So what kind of things did you dig up for us this week?
Yeah, 3 superlatives for the week. So the first one was best article, and a lot of people have been talking about this. It's the article that Matt Schneidman wrote for The Athletic about Davante Adams, about his upbringing and his kind of his backstory, and a lot of the context of what he's lived through to get to where he is now. If you haven't seen it yet, hopefully the only reason people haven't seen it is because they don't have a subscription to The Athletic, which it's a paid site. I realize that, but they have a big sale going on right now for like $1 a month for like the next year. So I'm not getting, any like reimbursement to say this. I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm speaking to somebody who's had an Athletic subscription for like 2 years, and it's just, the writing is so good because it's long form. It's not just like short little bits for the most part. It's in-depth stuff. It's really fascinating. And, Matt Schneidman, of course, is the beat reporter for the Packers for The Athletic, and he's a really good writer, which is to say nothing of like the podcast that he does with Billy Huber, Head of the Pack, which is also excellent. It's one of my favorite podcasts every week. So yeah, that article by Matt Schneidman is really excellent. That best article, one of the best articles of the season so far, I'd even say. So did you see that article yet, Dawn?
It's on my read list, and I just remembered as you were saying it, I was going to put it on the read list on our Twitter. So of course it'll be in our show notes, but I'll do that as well tonight.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it a lot.
Yeah, and I need to take advantage of that sale. $1 a month. Come on.
It's a great deal.
Yeah, well, all right. I heard things about it, and I'm looking forward to reading it.
Yeah. All right. Well, my second one then is best questions. So one of my favorite like Packers writers is Paul Brettel. He does a lot of writing. He's very like prodigious, and he also like had a podcast that I don't think he's doing much anymore, Packers Unrestricted, and also of course is on the Saturday Pack a Day. And Paul's awesome. He's very insightful. He's good at like picking out like the really important things, presenting it in like very digestible, easy to read kind of stuff. So huge fan of Paul Brettel for a while now. But anyhow, best questions go to him for his series Behind Enemy Lines, which is where he like kind of gets in touch with a writer from another who somebody who covers the team we're about to go against, what I'm trying to say, and like asks them 5 questions. The questions are always really good. I'll admit that I haven't caught them every week, but this week I did see the one with the Rams, and it was awesome. So without getting into too much detail, I'll just tell you what the 5 questions were that he asked to give you a sense of like how Paul thinks and like how insightful this kind of stuff is that he does. So the questions he asked for this article: He asked, the Rams had the best defense in football last season. How have they compared in 2022 without Brandon Staley? And is it a similar defense under Raheem Morris? So that's the first one was about defense. His second question is, Green Bay Packers fans are familiar with Matt Stafford, but playing for the Rams is different than playing with the Lions. What's gone well and what's he struggled with this season? Like, really interesting question, right? Then he asked, who is one player on offense and one on defense that Green Bay Packers fans may not be familiar with, but someone who could make an impact Sunday? Of course, we all know like the big name stars, your Jalen Ramsey's, Aaron Donald's, Cooper Kupp, those kinds of guys, even OBJ now, I guess. But so like, who are the people we don't know about? And I think that's a really interesting question, especially because I think about that kind of thing a lot. Like as Packers fans, a lot of us know the roster inside and out. Like we could tell you like the third string left tackle, Josh Nijman, who's awesome. I love him. He's going to start this week. I love that guy.
I know.
Did you see him doing the robot in that video?
Yes, I did.
That guy's awesome. So, but we don't, most Packers fans don't know those other rosters of other teams, like, up and down, inside and out like that. So to get the perspective of somebody who does, I thought it was really interesting. And that was just the third question. So the fourth one then, if the Rams are going to win this game, what does that path to victory look like for them against the Green Bay Packers? And so the answer that the writer, and I should have written on the writer's name from the Rams, but I liked how that guy, apologies to whoever the writer is, how they answered that, because they started by saying like, these are the things the Rams do poorly. So in order for them to win, they have to not do those things they do poorly. And then the fifth question was, what is one area where the Rams are very good, but on the flip side, what does this team struggle with? And it was really cool. It's really cool to read all that. So best questions go to Paul Brettel.
Awesome, Paul. And you know what? I meant to ask you on the previous one on Schneiderman's article. Did you have like a favorite takeaway from that article? I know it's a long article.
Yeah, I think part of what makes Davante Adams so special is he's so devoted to his craft and like his getting better at his route running, his release, like all those like little things, because though he's a very gifted athlete, without a doubt, other people might have like, more speed or more this or that, so anything that like he has less of than somebody else, he more than makes up for it with like the care he puts into like those little details. So I said that because when he was in high school, he was more of a basketball player, and then moving more into football, he was kind of way behind the curve, so he had to learn a lot of those things. And you can see that tenacity, that fierceness of spirit, if you will, that he brings to everything he does. Like that's why he's so great. Like physical gifted athlete, of course, but like more than that, just really devoted. And as an educator, as somebody who used to teach band, always really did a lot to encourage students to have a good work ethic, more than like just relying on natural talent, because that's what's going to take you farther. So to really see that, in a Packer and as a role model for the other Packers and for their players and other people, makes my heart sing. So I loved it.
Yeah, I like that. Well, and Paul Brettel's Behind Enemy Lines, what website is he on?
Right. He writes for Dairyland Express.
Okay. We'll check that out. Well, I'll check that out when I add it to the show notes for everyone else. And I'll explain why. I've got some catching up to do, but that's great. And just before I forget, because I might forget at the end, we're hoping to have a surprise guest on our podcast next week along these lines, Behind the Enemy's Lines, someone who writes for one of the Rams websites, who covers the Rams. So I watch them and I pay attention, but because I'm watching so many games, it's like I'm in football mush head. I don't remember. I'll remember when we're playing, I'll remember on Sunday, but right now I can't recall. I should know some of the answers to these things. Like I know their roster too, because again, I'm out here and I do, follow along and the Chargers as well. Not the 49ers so much as they used to, but so anyway, I'm looking forward to reading Paul, and I do really respect Paul's
awesome.
take. Yeah, he's great. All right, what else do you have?
Yeah, so my third one then is funniest tweet. So this was a funny week, in football, with the whole Aaron Rodgers foot thing and all the memes that came from his taking off his shoe and showing everybody his bare foot. I mean, just that alone was awesome. And then, today I think it was, we're recording on Friday. So today Billy Turner took off his shoe and his sock in his press conference, I think, just because he thought it'd be funny to do that. It was like the last thing he did. He did something, said something about like a foot fetish people here or something, and like showed his foot and then like walked off the stage.
Man.
Hilarious. So anyhow, when the meme started happening with Aaron Rodgers and his foot, there were a lot of funny, tweets and memes and stuff like that. But my favorite one was Andrew Brandt, who we mentioned before, former employee of the Packers, used to work for them, writes about them, does all kinds of stuff. He his one was, he just retweeted it and said, "Glad it's not a groin injury," and that about killed me. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite of the jokes of all of the foot memes.
I would have to agree. I had seen it and I noticed that you saw it too, and I was really grossed out by that. Oh, sorry, I didn't close my windows, and there's a motorcycle out there. Or I doesn't sound like a motorcycle. It sounds
I can't hear. I think we're good. I can't hear it. So
it's really loud. It sounds like a small we have a small airport about 5 miles that way.
Yeah.
So sometimes we get really low. Even some accidents, they land on the freeway, and almost sounded like that's what it sounded like, because
wow.
A weird sound. It's not a normal. Anyway, anywho, my windows are open. My cat's hanging out in the window over there. So, it was pretty hot. So
Aaron Rodgers' foot was
grossed me out.
You're not a foot person.
Well, I don't know. I don't know why it did. I'm not like I don't know. And I kept seeing the photo, and it was just like, ew. Because everyone was posting it. Yeah. And so Andrew Brandt's was probably the only one. I don't even know if I clicked. You know how I am. If there's something I don't want more of, I won't engage with it. So, but yeah, that was pretty funny. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because I was thinking he was just out of practice and it was sweaty. I don't know. It just, for some reason, it just was like,
like, because you're imagining it's an athlete's foot. So yeah,
right.
There's that. I don't know. Feet don't really bother me very much in general. So I was kind of like, oh, that's just funny. Like I didn't have like the gross out factor for me. I just thought it was funny.
They don't normally bother me, but it just seemed really unsanitary, I guess. And then I was like, this dude is just bringing on more drama with all this, like, just say you don't want to talk about it,
No, I think at this point he just thinks it's funny. He then used that shot of his foot as his new, avatar.
Oh yeah.
So he's just having fun. Whatever.